We are near Lawrence, South Carolina at Roses Unlimited, and I'm talking with Bill Paterson. Bill, this is a glorious way to spend your day, but I know it's not that easy to have it happen. How did you get interested in roses?
Well, it was about 6th grade. My great-great-grandmother had some roses in her garden. She had passed away in the 40s, but I was allowed to take a few over to my parents' house, and I just fell in love with all plants. Roses and everything.
And you said by the time you went to Clemson, you had transformed your mother's yard.
Yes, I had about 1,000 different types in the yard at that time. Climbers, old garden, modern roses. I really had a great time.
And now this is a business, and you and your partner in this business, Pat Henry, have really, y'all are, not only do you propagate and offer these roses to people, but y'all study roses, I believe.
Yes, we have what we call rose study days. This allows the public to come in and learn a little bit more if they don't know anything. It's kind of like Roses 101.
Well, and I don't really know much. Are there different divisions or classes of roses? Let's talk about how they're divided up.
Well, according to the American Rose Society, or the ARS, they have 37 different classes. These are taken out of 3 major divisions. You have the species, you have the old garden roses, and you have the modern roses. To be an old garden rose, the class had to be in existence before 1867.
And then y'all grow 15 different classes here on the property.
Yes, each year we try to grow different varieties, different classes, so that we can offer just about everything. We have about 1,200 different varieties, but we only, we never offer all those on one year.
Last year, though, Pat told me y'all did 956 different ones that were offered to people. That's a lot. And so your stock plants are kept inside. And tell me the process of growing them and making the cuttings and then growing them out so that you can offer them to the public.
We start with about a 6-inch cutting, and we put it in a little peat pot, which is about the size of 2 by 2 that you would grow maybe a tomato plant in.
And you'd start taking the cuttings when,
Cuttings
Bill?
Usually about the middle of May.
Okay, so you take the cutting and put it in a little peat pot.
Peat pot, then we put it in our propagation house, or our mist house. And during the summer months, probably in about 4 weeks, you'll see the little white roots starting to come through the peat pot. And we move it from that into a 1-gallon container. But you want to take the 1 gallon, we grow it off typically 9 to 10 months. We use heated greenhouses. We try not to let the plants freeze. That way they're continually growing.
So they really are getting almost a full year of growth from the time that you took that little cutting until hopefully someone comes and says, oh, this rose is going to have a new home in my yard.
Just what I want. That's right.
And so we always hear that, that diseases and insects are such a problem. How do you control those sorts of things?
Well, we do spray. I use a fungicide primarily. And this is, in the south, black spot is your major problem. You may have mildew in the early spring, late fall, depending on the weather conditions, but primarily your black spot. And if you'll keep your black spot under control, the plants will grow better. They will just really produce a lot more blooms for you.
And you said that you could actually make some decisions about placing the roses in the garden that will help with some of those situations.
Yes, where you plant the rose, it needs at least 6 good hours of sun. It also needs good air circulation, and it needs good drainage.
Now, I understand that you don't have to be a slave to roses anymore, and that there's been a lot of work going on developing new ones that don't require as much spray. They have some resistance. So let's talk about some of those.
All right. There's a group called the Earth Kind, which was started out in Texas at the University of Texas, and they mainly are the old garden roses like Pink Pet, Duchess de Brabant. They're the ones that tend to do well without a whole lot of pampering. And then there are those which we call the ADRs. These come from Germany, and they're some of the modern ones that are more disease resistant.
And your partner in business, Pat, said she likes the Cordays. Is that the group that she particularly enjoys?
That's right.
And they, again, have more disease resistance naturally.
Yes. They've been bred into the rose.
And what about size? If What sizes can roses come in?
Well, roses come in all sizes, anywhere from maybe 1 foot. Even some of them are ground covers and more or less run on the ground. They're still about 1 foot tall. Then your Chinas typically are 3 to 4 foot. Then you have your hybrid teas, which maybe be 5 to 6 foot. Mr. Lincoln is a hybrid tea, red. It'll go probably 7 foot if you grow it correctly. Then you have your climbers. Then you have your ramblers, which can go 30 feet or more.
30 feet or more, up in a tree, just a beautiful sight to see. Probably a one-time bloomer, but I bet y'all even have some repeats of those now.
There are a few repeat bloomers in your ramblers, yes.
One thing that I learned today is that y'all kind of serve as the germplasm center for many roses, and that breeders know they can look to Roses Unlimited right here in Lawrence, South Carolina, and find things that can't be found in other places.
That's correct. I consider myself a museum. We have a lot of old roses. We're probably the only nursery in the states that have so many different types of roses.
And Pat told me that she spends a lot of time helping people, that y'all, because of your experience, that you know these roses individually. When someone calls and has a certain situation, she says, I think that this rose will work in your situation. Or if someone's in another state, and y'all do ship all the way to California, even Alaska, I understand. So aftercare is something that y'all pride yourselves on.
Yes, they can email or they can call Stephanie at the office and she'll be glad to help them.
It sounds like becoming a rose person is kind of like getting a new child, and it's nice to know that we have such a nice support staff here at Roses Unlimited. If people want to know more about y'all or just come and find out about what's here, are there ways that they can get information about you?
Yes, we have a new website. It's rosesunlimitedsc.com, or you can call Stephanie at the office here, 864-682-7673.
Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful little piece of South Carolina. It's a real treasure what you've done here.
Well, thank you for coming up and enjoying the roses. Thank you very much.